This is a transition on Atlantic Television Network. Following the judgment of the Rivers State High Court delivered by Honorable Justice Sika H. Akpuroko on August 12, 2024, that sacked Honorable Tony Okocha, Caretaker Committee of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, the National Working Committee of the APC said that the Okocha Caretaker Committee remains the authentic and recognized state working committee in Rivers State. This was disclosed by the National Working Committee of the All Congress in the state. Meanwhile, addressing journalists, Deputy National Secretary of the APC, Barrister Festus Funta, said the Emeka Bekee, who was reinstated by the Rivers State High Court, had already been sacked by another court. Funta further said that Bekee had later filed an appeal, but he could not wait for the outcome of his appeal before he embarked on that he called an abuse of court process. According to him, the claimant in the said case sued the national chairman and secretary of the All Progressives Congress and not the party itself, pointing out that an agent of the disclosed principle cannot be sued, even as he opined that court judgment or court ruling or other is not binding on a person or organization that is not a party to the suit. The NWC National Secretary posted that there is a valid and subsisting court judgment against Chief Emeka Bekee and Ifeanyichukwu Zubike, former River State APC chairman and legal advisor. Therein, they were removed from office. Barrister Festus maintained that the opposition of the National Working Committee is reversible, pointing out that as far as the NWC is concerned, what happened was an abuse of power and court process, and thus would seek legal remedies against the judgment which reinstated Bekee. Analyst says the upcoming local government election in Rivers State must hold to complement and justify the existence of the three-tier of government as outlined by the Constitution. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, a political analyst, Wisdom Len, highlighted the importance of an active local government council in a democratic system.
Rivers people are really anticipating for the local government elections because, just like we all know, we have the three tiers of government in Nigeria, and when governance is only within the federal and state, it also reduces or maybe diminishes the real reason for the democracy that we are really practicing.
Speaking on the rescheduled date for local government elections in Rivers State, Len described a calculated rumor and baseless target against the grassroots development.
I can tell you authoritatively that those rumors are baseless and are also founded by the same people who never want peace, to have its way in Rivers State.
This is coming after the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission has dismissed reports circulating on social media that it has postponed the local government council elections scheduled for October 5, 2024. And contrary to the report, RSIEC Chairman, retired Justice Adolphus Enebile, insisted that the claims are false, baseless, and unfounded. Police officer under the auspices of concerned police inspector in Nigeria are calling on the Inspector General of Police Ekayode Egbetokun to release a non-payment of 11 months salary arrears. The group disclosed this when they visited the Correspondence Chapel of the Nigerian Union of Journalists along Asutan Street, Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. The officers drawn from different police formations who spoke on behalf of their colleagues on condition of anonymity lamented that their crimes fighting morals has been dampened by the non-commitment to their welfare by the police authorities, adding that there were about 1,500 officers promoted from Inspector 11 to 1, and appealed to the IGP Kayode Egbetokun to use his office to effect the payment for the affected officers to be able to address the harsh socio-economic realities on their families. They lamented the high cost of living, adding that it has begun to affect their families, stressing that since he assumed office as IGP, Egbetokun has been promoting officers without commensurate payment of their financial accomplishments. Analysts have described the recent blockage of the Owerri Port Harcourt Road by truck drivers as an abuse of office and illegal expression of rights on the part of the truckmen. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Blowout, a political analyst, Ekiye stressed on the need for due process and social orderliness between public officers and citizens.
When you stop the right of another man's activities, it's an illegal action. So what the truck drivers are actually doing is actually illegal. It's not right. We must condemn it. No matter how beautiful what they have done is right in their eyes. Where your own right ends, that's where the next man's right begins. Now you can't, two wrongs can't make.
Ekiye also advised aggrieved citizens on the need to embrace global-based approach on conflict resolutions.
Hence, we are living in a civilized world right now. Such kind of primitive activities should be dropped. There are civil ways of handling civil activities. If you think I have disobeyed the law, you can, invoke the weight of the law. There are procedures for all of these things, but not to do. We are yet to see they vandalize the truck and the people who they said were manhandled.
This is coming after several angry trailer drivers yesterday blockaded the Owerri Port Harcourt Road over alleged harassment, intimidation and seizure of their trucks by alleged uniformed security personnel and government actors. Ahead of the October 2024 local council election in Enugu State, the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party has elected the party's chairmanship candidate for the 17 local government area of the state. The party had earlier elected its councillorship candidates from the 260 electoral wards of the state, and the governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, congratulated the winners and also commended party's faithfuls for their peaceful conduct during the two primary elections, which witnessed mass turnout of parties, delegates and stakeholders in the 17 LGS, saw the eventual candidates clear the polls in most places following the weeks of consensus building proceedings they exercised, while many aspirants who spoke at the venue declared support for the eventual winner, urging their support to vote for them. However, only two former council chairmen, namely Honorable Okechukwu Ede of Nkanu East LGA and Honorable Obiara Ebegu of Isi Uzo LGA, were returned as the party's candidates for the forthcoming council elections, while in the party's chairmanship primary election held at Amagunze, Nkanu East LGA, Honorable Oke Echukwu swept the entire 42 vote cast by the 42 delegates to emerge winner, while Honorable Obiagu polls all the 33 votes cast by 33 parties delegates at Itam Nsi Uzo LGA to emerge victorious. In their acceptance speech at Amagunze and Ikam, respectively, Oke Echukwu Ede and Obiara Obiagu thanks party members for their confidence reposed on them, assuring that they would double their efforts to complement Governor Mba's many rural development initiatives in the state when elected by their people in October. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Enugu State Independent Electoral Commission, Professor Chris Aungu, who observed the exercise at the Amagunze, Nkanu East, described it as credible, fair and just, saying that ENSIEC, under its leadership, was out to ensure a level playing ground for all the political parties. In view of the dispute over the ongoing international markets project in Okwi, Nsukka local government area of Enugu State, community members have called on the Enugu State government to halt all forms of lawlessness. Their calls came in view of the continuation of the markets project despite the dependency of the markets before an Enugu State High Court, adding that in the suit, the plaintiff are asking the court for an order of interrogatory injunction restraining the defendant and respondents either by themselves, servants, private agency, cronies, assigned, as well as those claiming through or under them, howsoever named from the interfering, entering, further entering, and or building on the plaintiff's respective portion of land forming part of the large expanse of land called Oi Oma, measuring about 99.9 acres, situated at Aka Ibute, Owelu, Ogberara community, Okpi town, Nsukka local government area of Enugu State, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. Joined as defendants are the Governor of Enugu State, the Attorney General, Enugu State, and as well as registered trustee of Eastern Bridge International Markets Union, and 6 others, while in a motion on notice brought pursuant to Order 39 Rules 1 of the High Court, Civil Procedure Rules 2020, the plaintiff prayed the court to halt further work on the disputed land. However, speaking to journalists on Tuesday on behalf of the affected members of the community, Ezema Chidoezie said it was regrettable that some parties to the suit were taking laws into their own hands. Through their lawful Celestus Chidieze, the plaintiff are also seeking 1 billion naira special damages as well as 200 million naira general damages. Farmer identified as Joshua Egbadamosi has been killed on his farm in Ifera, Akoko South East local government area of Ondo State by suspected herders. Eyewitness said the body of the teenage farmer was discovered on his farm in an Arraign community, created tension among the people as they accused some herders of committing the crime. Why the gruesome killing of the Ayeni came a few days after a farmer was also murdered in Oba Akoko South West local government area. The deceased, who was from Odoro quarter of the community, was being killed at the Ogudu farm settlement by the suspected headsman, while the assassins brutally marched the farmer and left his lifeless body on the farm, with his remains discovered when he did not return home. One of the sources, however, said policemen from Iswa Akoko visited the scene of the incident, recovered his body and deposited it at the mortuary in Ikpe Akoko General Hospital. While confirming the incident, the police image maker in the state, Fumilayo Adolami Amosaya, said a young man, Farouk Adamu, was being arrested in connection with the incident, while the Owa of Igbagi Akoko, Oba Victor Olase Hinde, who was declared the Akoko Divisional Council of Obas, decries the killings as callous, killed, and wicked and unacceptable. Ogun State Police Command has alerted members of the public of a notorious one-chance robbery gang operating along Sagamu, Ijebu Ode to Mowe Expressway. The command spokesperson, Omolola Odutola, raised the awareness on Thursday in a statement posted on her X handle that the command has received numerous complaints from residents, one of which involved a victim who was robbed of 700,000 naira at gunpoint after getting into a car from Kejala on Wednesday. while warning traders and business owners at risk traveling with a huge amounts cash. The spokesperson advised commuters to record and send videos to the police if they are insured about the particular vehicles, adding that the Ogun State Police Command has become inundated with the complaints of the notorious gang operating within Sagamu, Ijebu Ode to Mowe. Police in Ekiti State has arraigned a 20-year-old cattle railer, Mohamedou Bello, before an Ado Ekiti Chief Magistrate Court for allegedly destroying farm products valued at 3.8 million naira belonging to 4 individuals. The police prosecutor's Inspector Elijah Adejare, who disclosed this, said the defendant committed the offense on August 10 at Ido-Ile, Ekiti, and the Acts contravened Section 363 of the Criminal Law of Ekiti State 2021 and prayed the court for an adjournment to enable him to study the case filed and present its witnesses. Counsel for the defendant, Adeyomi Agbebi, urged the court to grant the defendant's bail with their promise that he would not jump bail, while the Chief Magistrate Bankole Oluwasami granted the defendant's bail in a sum of 80,000 naira with one surety in like sum and adjourned the case till September 6 for hearing. This was as another Chief Magistrate Court in Ado Ekiti, presided over by Abayomi Adodesun, granted bail to 2 men, Hamad Abdulrashid and Abiodun Aluko, arraigned before the court for allegedly stealing motorbike, while the police prosecutor Sergeant Alice Ajo told the court that the defendant, 22-year-old Abdulrashid and 42-year-old Aluko, allegedly committed the offense on August 6 in Ado Ekiti, the Ekiti State capital. The Chief Magistrate Abayomi Adoshun granted bail to the defendant in a sum of 250,000 naira with one surety each in like sum and adjourned the case till September 27 for hearing. Residents of Gadumu, Lokoja, Kogi State, who were not ordinarily connected to the confluence feeder of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, have rejected their purported upgrade to Ban A. They argued that the upgrade has claimed by Abuja Electricity Distribution Company is unjustified, adding that the confluence feeder reportedly supply electricity for up to 20 hours a day, while areas not saved by it have experienced prolonged power outrage. While feeders from Abuja Electricity Distribution Company indicated that areas in Gadumo not connected to confluence feeders before have been connected for improved electricity supply, but at the expense of increased tariff. This is coming after residents has expressed frustration, citing the lack of any correspondent increase in electricity supply compared to their confluence feeder neighbors, as well as numerous complaints have been lodged at the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company office near a nearby housing estate, Dagamu. The residents affected have called for Abuja Electricity Distribution Company to either rectify the situation or return them to their previous status, rather than continuing with an upgrade that may believe offer no real benefit. Benue State Governor Reverend Father Haisin Halia has denied knowledge of All Progressives Congress APC State Executive Committee meeting allegedly announced by the former state chairman of the party, Austin Gada. This comes after they were publications on the cyberspace to affect that the meeting of SEC of the Benue APC is summoned in Meduguri. Why in a statement on Thursday by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor Toso Kula said Governor Ali called off the purported meeting, warning that there will be consequences if any person or group attempted to disrupt the peace of the state by convening for any authorized meeting. He said no APC meeting can be summoned without his knowledge. 3 people have been killed and 8 others injured in a clash between farmers and herders in Kodumo a community in Demusa local government area of Adamawa State. Eyewitness said in a community long known for similar confrontations, the fresh incident is said to have been triggered by the alleged killing of the youth in Kodomo by suspected headers and have fled afterward, escalating to the neighboring Kudiri, Zabolai, Kawoya, Kani and Gorobakai village. The police public relations officer in Adamawa State, SP Suleiman Ngoroje, said a combined security team dispatched to the crisis area has restored normalcy, and a meeting on the crisis was quickly held at the palace of the Hamabata Homon Amodo Gladstone Teneke and the paramount traditional ruler in Demsa. Addressing the meeting, the executive chairman of Demsa Local Government Council, appealed for calm and blamed both the farmers and the herders for allegedly concealing the truth over the causes of the lingering crisis, and also urged the farmers to always report the destruction of their crops to the authorities for this compensation, and warned the herders to restrain from grazing around farm areas to cut into farms. Earlier in the remark, the Hamabata Homon Halumudu Gladstone Teneke said the state government directive that herders withdraw their cattle during croppings and raining season until after harvest in February every year must be strictly complied with, and asked leaders of the warning groups to fish out the culprits in latest clash and submit their names for prosecution. Bauchi State Emergency Management Agency has confirmed 4 persons dead in recent flood disaster in the state. The flood also destroyed houses, submerged farmlands, and washed away some section of the Kano-Meduguri Expressway. Director General of the agency, Mosood Aliu, who confirmed this in Bauchi, said the flood also destroyed houses, submerged farmland, and washed away some section of the Kano-Meduguri Expressway, adding that the state government has mobilized contractors to repair the fell sections of the road and also provide an alternative route for road users. He therefore urged the people to heed to the warning by the Nigerian Metropolitan Agency about impending flood disaster. Analysts have sympathized with the recent flood victims in Bauchi State and also faulted the state government for insensitivity to critical issues despite warning of pending flood by the meteorological agencies. Speaking on Atlantic television network program Blowout, a political analyst, Mufasa Emumofasen, blamed the ugly incident on the government's inability to be proactive in tackling the issues of flood in Bauchi State.
Reactive instead of being proactive. I know countless number of times that we've experienced flooding in some parts of this country. The Meteorological Agency of Nigeria, most times they've put this information out even months before these things happen. But this is not.
Etienne recalled that the Bauchi State Emergency Management Agency has confirmed the date of 4 persons as flood persisted in some communities of the state. The Director General of the agency, Mosood Aliu, made the confirmation to the press in Abuja. National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Granduje, has described the allegations that protesters looted and absconded with sensitive documents related to the corruption trials as baseless and comical. The former governor of Kano State, in a statement signed by his chief press secretary, Godwin Olufo, on Thursday, said credible intelligence reports reveals that the protest, which tragically turned bloody, was directly sponsored by Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf's administration, adding that they are contrary to the claims by the Kano government suggesting that APC sponsored the recent violence protests in Kano. Rather, it was the Kano state government that funded the protests to tarnish the image of President Bola Tinubu-led administration. The chairman stressed that it was alarming that a sitting governor would incite such chaos and violence within his state, putting the lives and property of innocent citizens at risk, and condemned the reckless and irresponsible behavior, which he said was an attempt to destabilize Kano as well as undermine the peace of security of the region, and more importantly, tarnish the good image of a president, while the federal government, through relevant security agencies, immediately launched a thorough investigation into Kano state government's involvement in his unfortunate incident. Grand Budget also said the sponsor of this violence must be brought to justice to ensure that this does not set a dangerous precedent for other states, noting that governance has been reduced to a huge joke in Kano state, that the state government will condense confidence low to suggesting that demonstrators broke into a court and carefully select documents relating to the trials of APC national chairman, handpicked them and take them away in their digital age. No descending mind will buy into this president's propaganda. You are watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break. Welcome back. This is Transition on Atlantic Television Network, and now the rest of our stories. National Judicial Council NJC has recommended Honorable Justice Odirat Motomori Ekekere Ekun to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for appointment as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Justice Olukayode Ariwola will formally bow out of the office as the Chief Justice of Nigeria next week, Thursday, being August 22, 2024. And if approved, Justice Kekere Ekun would be the second female Chief Justice of Nigeria, and Mokata Aloma as the first female CGN. A statement by the NJC's Director of Information, Soji Oye, said, besides, the council also recommended 28 candidates for appointment as Justice of State Court and the candidates for appointment as Kadi of the Sahara Court of the FCT Abuja to their various state governors, and the development comes at its 106th meeting presided over by the outgoing Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwola. Consent Medic Foundation, a group of Nigerian doctors in the diaspora, has signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Hospital for Women and Children, Abuja, in order to curtail brain drain in the country. The agreement was signed by the Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Professor Raji Mahmood, and the Chairperson of the CMF, Dr. Sadiya Gumi, in Abuja. A statement said the parties involved in the And the partnership desires to collaborate to address the issues of medical brain drain by facilitating the involvement of Nigerian doctors in the diaspora who will participate in the 2 years rotation program at the National Hospital Abuja, adding that CMF and the hospital acknowledge the potential to turn brain drain to brain gain involving Nigerian doctors in diaspora and to reduce the menace of Japa syndromes among medical doctors in the country, while 24 doctors from all over the world have signed up for the pilot scheme. Gumi said that some of the desperate doctors were specialists in surgery, psychiatric intensive care, pediatric adult medicine and general practices, while the parties acknowledge the potentials to turn brain drain to brain gain involving Nigerian doctors in diaspora, stressing that the parties desire to collaborate to address the issues of medical brain drain by facilitating the involvement of Nigerian doctors in the diaspora who will participate in the 2-year rotation program at National Hospital, Abuja. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has denied its X account has been hacked. This is coming following the speculation that suspected internet fraudsters who threaten to wage cyber warfare against the EFCC has hacked the anti-graft agency's X account. According to reports, some internet fraudsters has accused the Anti-Graft Commission of disregarding constitutional norms in cracking down on dubious activities among Nigerians online, while the agency's websites and other social media pages, such as Facebook and Instagram, were functional. EFCC spokesman Dele Olawale said the glitch was as a result of an update done on the agency's account and assured that the account will soon be accessible to the populace. Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has described the seizure of aircraft in Nigeria's presidential air fleet as an international embarrassment. Obi said the development is yet another of many embarrassing incidents exposing the nation's failure leadership and poor attitude to the rules of law in a democracy. This is coming after the seizure followed the Ogun State government's failure to honor a $74.5 million award granted to a Chinese company, Zoganan Fagen Industrial Investment Co. Limited, by an independent attributable tribunal chaired by the former president of the UK Supreme Court, while the seized jets are set to part of Nigerian's presidential air fleet. However, the presidency on Thursday said it is aware of the development, accusing Zhongjiang of attempting to take over offshore assets of the federal government of Nigeria through subterfuge. A statement on Thursday, Obi, a former Anambra State governor, said the fact that the federal government went ahead with the jet deal despite outcry and horrifying economic hardship shows the insensitivity of the President Bola Tinubu administration, stressing that the trending international news on the seizure of 3 jets belonging to Nigeria's presidential fleet is yet another of many embarrassing things exposing our failed leadership and our attitudes to the rules of law even in a democracy. Nigeria Labour Congress has accused the federal government of declaring war against Igbo and interfering in internal affairs of the trade union matters following the incidents raid on its headquarters by security forces. At the press conference in Abuja on Thursday, NLC leader rejected the police explanation for the invasion and demanded an apology as well as the return of seized items and the release of detained individuals, and also criticized government attempt to interfere with the organization's internal affairs, including a proposed reduction in the tenure of trade union leaders. They urged that this violation labor law and international conventions. This is coming after the police has claimed that the raid on the headquarters of the NLC was aimed at apprehending an international terrorist suspect. But the NLC dismissed this as a cover-up, pointing out that contradictions in the police account, while the NLC reiterates its demands for a stakeholders conference to address press national issues, including hunger, poverty, and insecurity. They also advise the government to stop meddling in the affairs of opposition parties and to focus on the dialogue with the honest Nigerians. The organization warns that it will hold the police responsible for any future incident at its headquarters or against its leaders and members, stressing that the Registrar of Trade Union acting on order from above wrote a letter of threat and our relationship with Labour Party, citing Section 15, subsection 234 of the Trade Union Act, adding that government is also frantically working to reduce the number of year trade unionists could hold office, which constitute a gross interference in the internal running of the trade union in violations of the corpus of labor law and ILO conventions. Professor Omar Pate, a renowned broadcaster and an academician, has emerged as the first elected president of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters. This was effected after the peaceful and contested election at the National Conference Society of Nigerian Broadcasters held in Abuja. Professor Pate won with a total of 231 votes against his opponent Matthew Okodwa, who has a total of 12 votes. In his address, Pate said he was committed to addressing the financial constraint associated with the broadcast industry.
That will help the system influence the training for the next generation of broadcasters, as well as give our audiences the desired content that will go in line with their expectations. These ladies and gentlemen we are seeing here are capable, are competent, and are confident. With me, we shall work to raise the required funding, to give the required visibility, and contribute collectively for all of us to be proud of our profession. Yesterday I said, being a broadcaster should not mean signing treaty with poverty. Being a broadcaster should not mean occupying a class that should not be respected in society. Therefore, it is our job and it is our hope that this leadership which you have given to us, and like I always say, leadership is a burden that you don't have to struggle for. But when it comes, you should accept it and do what it takes for that leadership to achieve the objectives you have set for yourself.
Speaking to journalists, pioneer members and mentors of the society, Ambassador Yemi Forambi and the chairman, Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, Abdul Raham Dambo, shared their desires and expectations for future broadcasters in Nigeria.
So, with a body of knowledge, with a professional body, that devotes efforts on human capacity development, on training people, because broadcasting develops in changes, the technology changes, the processes changes, the techniques changes. But what does not change are the goals of broadcasting: to inform, to educate, and to entertain. So we must keep on training our professional members so that they can cope with the contemporary demands of the society, in preparing the society for a greater future. Which, after all, is what broadcasting is about.
In the first place, have the legal backing for this association, and of course we have to extend our dragnet for membership across the country, though we have witnessed a large number turnout today, but all the same we know we are much more than what we are having today. So that is going to continue, and we will try to also, along with the new executives, see how we can better our services in broadcasting and also better the lives of broadcasters in Nigeria.
And going forward, broadcast industry will be rated high. We're going to have prestige. Before now, we were only operating under associations and not We have the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, which is membership of the broadcasting stations. But for the first time, we have SMB. SMB's membership is all the professionals. Every broadcaster must be a member of the SMB. Going forward, if you're not an SMB member, if you're not certified by SMB, you won't be allowed to practice broadcasting in this country.
Former chairman of Bond, Sir Ibrahim, and Chrisabel Oyangya, deputy president of the Society, expressed belief in the new emerged leadership of Society of Nigerian Broadcasters, stressing that the new president has come with wealth of experiences.
It is our hope that they will be able to take this society where we want it to be. The industry, the broadcasting industry, is going through a phase, and we need this to inject fresh air into the industry. And so we hope they will take it, and by the leadership that emerged, we have strong belief that they will do what we expected them to do.
We are starting from the sky. The sky is not our limit, it's our starting point. Because with the ESCOs we have selected today, we are all movers. We all have this drive in us to take SME to where it's supposed to be. Though we are coming late as a society, but we shall overtake every other society as per certain standard.
Correspondent Rotimi Adewumi reports that other executive officers like the Treasury Secretary and Vice President were won unopposed. And now to business reports. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has discovered and confiscated an additional 63 illegal refineries in the past week. NNPCL discloses in a recent documentary on the fight against oil theft, adding that 63 illegal refineries were discovered and confiscated in Bayelsa, Rivers, Abia, Imo, and Delta states. The state-owned firm also said from August 3 to 9, 2024 alone, about 177 innocent incidents of oil theft were recorded by security operatives, including Tanita Security Services and others, adding that during the week under review, 19 illegal pipeline connections were recovered, while some underwent repair across several locations in Bayelsa and River State, while a vandalized barricaded oil wellhead was discovered in Bayelsa State. According to the firm, 17 vehicular arrests were made in communities in Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom states, while 15 wooden boats conveying stolen crude were confiscated in Rivers and Bayelsa states, and 51 of those incidents took place in the deep blue water, 21 in the western region, 29 in the central region, and 76 in the eastern region. This is coming after June. The company uncovered 165 illegal refineries in the Niger Delta region, while in July the country recorded 1.3 million barrels per day of crude oil production, short of the 1.5 barrels per day Organizations of Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC quota, and the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, Maile Kyari, recently called on the military to sustain the war against crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economic Wale Edun has officially inaugurated a technical subcommittee tasked with developing the framework for the sale of crude oil to local refineries in Naira. He said the initiative aligned with the recent presidential directive aimed at enhancing Nigerians' refining capacity and promoting economic growth, adding that the crude oil supply to domestic refineries has been an issue for months, particularly since the multi-billion-dollar Dangote Petroleum Refinery came on board, adding that the domestic crude oil refiners, including the $21 billion Dangote Refinery, have repeatedly complained about the poor supply of crude to their plants. They have also called for a sale of crude oil in Naira due to the difficulty in accessing the United States dollar and the fluctuations of the local currency against the dollar. While in a post on the Financial Ministry official X handle, the ministry stated on Wednesday that the technical subcommittee has been inaugurated to help tackle these concerns, adding that the inauguration took place following a stakeholders meeting where government officials and representatives of the local refineries, including the Dangote refinery, gathered to discuss the implementation details of the strategic directive. The committee members include the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, Lydia Jafia, Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Dr. Zach Adedeji, as well as representatives from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Central Bank of Nigeria, Afrems Bank, and the Nigerian Offspring Petroleum Regulatory Commission, while the Finance Minister highlighted the critical roles of the committee in crafting a robust template that will ensure the successful implementation of the initiative. Still ahead, international tidbits. Islamic Palestinian movement Hamas says it will not negotiate any new condition for ceasefire or release of hostages as a new round of negotiations began in Qatar. Osama Hamadan, a high-ranking Hamas official, made this known after the movement has made clear to mediators that it will not accept more maneuvering by Israel. Hamas said the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government is attempting to secure the release of 33 hostages in an initial phase, while Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. have been acting as mediators for months between Israel and Hamas. Hamadian blamed the U.S. for failing to pressure Israel to agree to a deal, adding that Israel has always obstructed the negotiation process by sending delegations unauthorized to negotiate, setting new conditions and refusing to withdraw from the Philadelphia corridor. 17-year-old man who spent nearly 5 decades in prison for a murder he did not commit is to receive $7.15 million settlement from the U.S. city that convicted him. According to the National Registrar of the Ennorations, Gain Simon, who is black, saved more time behind bars before being ennorated than any other inmate in the U.S. history, and was released last year after serving a total of 48 years, 1 month and 18 days in prison. This comes after councillors in Edmond, Oklahoma, voted to proceed with the settlements for Simon to resolve claims against the city and one of the detectives who helped put him away. Public record shows while lawyers for Simon said the payment represented a partial settlement of his lawsuit against the cities and police who falsifies evidence to frame him for murder. A spokesperson for Edmond declined to comment when approached, while Simon and other man, Don Roberts, were sentenced to death in 1975 for the murder the previous year of a 30-year-old liquor store clerk during a robbery in Edmond, and their sentence were later commuted to life in prison. Both men had said at trials that they were not even in their home at the time of the murder. U.S. District Court Judge Ami Pulambo threw out Simon's conviction in July last year and was officially declared innocent in December, while according to the National Registry of the Ennorations, the project run by 3 U.S. universities said Robert Simon's co-defendant was released from prison in 2008. Russian court has sentenced United States citizen Hamatwal ballerina Karina to 12 years imprisonment for treason. The developments follow the decision of the convict to donate $51 to support charity in Ukraine after Karina pleaded guilty last week at the trials that held behind closed doors. Karina has American and Russian citizenship while she was living in Los Angeles and became a United States citizen in 2021, and she was arrested during a family visit in January 2024 in Yekaterinburg, about 1,600 km 1,000 miles east of Moscow. Prosecutors have sought a 15-year jail term, while the court in Yekaterinburg found her guilty of high treason and sentenced her to imprisonment in the General Pilgrim Panel colony. And entertainment news. Grammy winner American gospel singer Kirk Franklin has stopped talking to his mother at the age of 32. He said he stopped talking to his biological mother because of an incident that happened when his mother brought her new husband while they were trying to rehabilitate his sister, who just got released from prison. According to him, she was still struggling with drugs and he needed to do an intervention to help her. And that's the size of the package. Thanks for joining us. I am Immaculata Irikana. You can join us on all our media platforms, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X Atlantic TV Net. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress.